Okay, so okay, good. Good. So yeah, everyone can hear now. Good. Um. Okay. So work is due 19th, right? 19th, 20th. Okay. Um. Okay. So today, I'll be taking class for the HPAL. Okay. So this is one more test management tool. So you already know Rally. If you know Rally, that's good. Okay. You don't have to know one more, extra tool. But to be safe side, right? I'm also giving explanation on HPALM. We are in safe side. Not necessary that you again. It's not necessary that you'll be using, Rally or HPLM or any other tool. The tool might be different. Okay, it can be anything, but it's only to get used to of user interface. So the user interface here is different. You do the same thing, creating test cases, executing the test cases, defects. You do the same thing, but the user interface here is different. Okay, so that's why just in an introduction on this tool, so that you just get used to the user interface. Okay. Okay, so this is HPALM. Okay. And so so normally you need to have access to login. Okay, so if you require maybe myself, or let me check if I can do, maybe I can give you access to this HPLM or Tagore. Okay, but let me check on that one. Okay, so once you get this access, just put the URL and click on that, and when you are in the client place, you need to put the appropriate domain and the project which you are working on projects. There are plenty of projects, but you only having the access on what project you're working on. So you should log in. So this is a pretty old tool, but still just to get used to the user interface. Okay, so here you have this various modules. Luckily, it is again in the left sidebar. It's even in Rally, you had all the things in the left sidebar, right? So here you have a little bit different here. Okay, so if you are used to Rally, that's good. I mean, you don't have to know one more thing, but you just backup. Just a backup to. Um, you also want to know more, so that's a good for you. Okay, so just a backup. Okay, so here you have this um, four major modules. So one is requirement module, and the other is test plan module, test lab, and defects. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you may not have access to all of these modules at once. Okay, but these four modules you will be having access. Okay, requirements you will be having access, read-only access. You are not allowed to create requirements because it's a job of a um, business analyst. Business analyst creates a requirement, not a tester. But if you are as a tester, you don't have access to create any requirement. You only have access to read, only just read access. And then the test plan, test lab is yours. So you'll be having both read-write access, okay, and defects. So you'll be having three major access, that is read-write access, and one only read-only access. Okay. So let's go one by one. So these, see these other modules, right? What here is showing up, is just resources, business components, and build verification. See, all these modules may or may not be used, by particular company. And if they are, even if they are using, it belongs to, particular hierarchy. Like, just like you have access to test plan, test lab, Scrum Master or project manager might have access to business components. Okay, they might have some work, working on that, and your manager might have access to management. Okay, what releases they are working on. Project manager might have this access. What releases they are working on, what libraries, what are the build servers, what are the repositories. Okay, and a developer might have access to development module. Just builds code and other team performance. So this is all these modules are access levels. Okay, so whoever whoever has this, suppose your Scrum Master has, project manager has his own access. Okay, tester has his own access, developer has his own access, architect has his own access, so on and so forth. How many people have their own? They might have their own access. But as a tester, this is what we have. We have requirements, test plan, test lab, and defect. That's it. Okay, you may not have, you may or may not have all this access at once. Okay, so just don't worry about the different modules. Okay, just you can look into it. If you get a chance, you can look into it, but no need to worry like what you have to do and what I need to figure it out. Nothing to worry on that one, because you may not always work on that. Okay, to start with at least. Okay, so let's go to the requirements module. So this is the requirement. So again, we have this as a read access. We don't write any requirements. Let's say if we have one of the requirement. Okay, let's say we have this requirement gym online. Okay, so so business analyst created a requirement saying that this gym online should be tested and this should be successfully deployed in production. And okay, so these are various modules. Okay, so we really don't care about this different modules in the requirements, and you may not always have this access only to the test coverage. You may have access to this test coverage module. Okay, so this is the requirements. Let's say you have the information. You have all this information here, and this is just a one-line statement. To sometimes you may not even have that. Okay, sometimes you may not have, sometimes you have a lot of information, but you may not know what to do with that, because again, it's not always, see, these things are not designed only for a tester, only for a developer, only for project manager. No, this is designed for everyone in the team, everyone. It's these things go till director and upper management. I will not be surprised even if it goes to CTO, the chief technical officer, saying that what's going on with this project, how the testers are working and all. Okay, so this so don't expect an easy information in this. Okay, that's what I mean, because lot of information it might be there, it may not be there. Okay, and even if it is there, it may not be useful for you at that point of time. Okay, so this is sometimes it's easy, that's good, but sometimes it's not. Okay, so you need to figure it out. Just you need to read the passage, or need to read once or twice, uh, or check with your lead, or check with your colleague, or whoever is comfortable with that, whoever you're comfortable with, and you can check with them and understand it. And let's say you figure it out, okay, how to write a test case based on this requirement. So this is the requirement. HTTP, demo board and demo post. So once you view this requirement, go to the test plan. Okay, so there is a little bit drawback in this. So not just one, there are so many drawbacks in this HPL. Okay, so here let's be in detail. Okay, so requirements tab, what you do is requirement tab is you only view the requirements. Okay, just view the requirement, that's it. Okay, as a tester, okay, I'm explaining as a tester. As a tester, requirement tab, you only view the requirements. What are the requirements and what you want to do with that. Okay, in the test plan module, you only create test cases. Okay, in the test plan module, you only create test cases, nothing else. Test lab module, you execute the test cases. So you are not going to execute test cases in test lab. Test plan. You are only going to execute in a test lab. Test plan, you only write the test case. That means you have written test case and forget about it. That's it. Test lab, you need to pull out that information from the test plan and execute it. And defects, you report the defects. Okay, so let's go to the test plan module. And so let's say there are so many projects going on. See, so many projects, and normally it's also based on the months, so how many releases, and so on. So here we have. So let's say this is what you will be working on, and let's say you figured out this your project, and you want to write test cases. Okay, now you want to write test cases. Once you figured out this project, you want to create your own directory or your own folder, because you cannot. So to write a test case, so in Rally it was easy. You were just writing against that user story, and that was good. But here, that's not that simple. Okay, in Rally they made it simple for people, right? They really made it very easy. Okay, so but here it's. I mean, here you need to first. You're not, Okay, yeah, so I know I'll be a little bit louder. Maybe my voice too, right? So it's been, although it's been 1 week, but still my voice has to recover. So maybe that's, that's the only thing. Okay, so, so you need to create a directory. Okay, so I mean, you cannot create anywhere you like. Even if you create, you need to move your directory, because if somebody sees that they don't want it there, they might delete it. Okay? So you don't want to happen that. What you want to do is they will be having, you will be having all these projects. What projects are going on? You have to write, create a directory only, beside your project, or inside your project, which project you're working on. Okay, let's say this is a project, and I want to create a directory. I'll just select this. Let's say if it is, this is my project, I'll just select this and create a new directory. And I'll just name it. Okay, so I'll just name this and click on OK. So, and after clicking it, so this doesn't get updated immediately. So you want to click on refresh, and once you get refreshed, this directory gets updated to this particular location. Okay, so it's good. Now we have just created a directory. Directory is like a folder. Okay, it's a folder. And there's nothing inside it. There's nothing inside it. It's just an empty folder. Okay, it's just an empty. And you want to create something like file, a full files or something like that. Right? You want to create. So what you want to do is you need to create a test. Okay. Okay. So here what you do is select this directory and click on new test. Okay. So here you need to fill up a lot of information here. So you want to put as put it as same. Okay, and you want to put some name here. So I'll just put that name. So normally this name follows the naming convention. So this is a test set name. Okay, so normally when you're writing test sets, right? Um, so let's say if you are trying to test for an Firefox, or if you want to test a browser, Firefox browser or Chrome browser or Internet Explorer, okay, or Safari browser. So you want to use, so there will be like 4 sets. That means you will be writing 4 sets of test cases individually. That means 4 different test sets. Each test set might contain like 10 test cases, 10 to 20, 10 to 20. So you don't want to go more than 20 test cases because it's not very efficient way to do the work. Because if you are going too much, you are just ending up spending too much time on just writing a test case. So that's not a very good idea to write more than 20 test cases. So 10 test case per set is good. If you want to if you want to, you can put some extra information in one step, and you can mention that, saying that and you can move to the next step. You don't want to clog lot of information and just make it huge. Okay, just you can make it simple. Okay, so as usual you want to put it as the project name, and you don't have to put your name. And this, it's not, these two are not required. And type, what is the type? Is it a manual? Is it automated? No. Is it a load runner? If it is a load runner scenario, it's a manual, it's a performance test. Okay, so based on that, here we just put as manual. So you want to fill up this, whatever the red color, right? You see this red color? These information should be filled. Okay, so that is mandatory information. Designer, so designer is always just QA analyst. Reviewer, if the reviewer is normally the lead, whoever is your lead, let me put your name. Okay. In status, design, test effort. I want to put some information, test effort, you can put it. Test priority. There's here. Is any version number. Okay. Let's put S2. Okay. And click. Okay. Okay, so we have just created, test set. We have not created any, steps. We have not created any steps. We have just created a framework. So this is actually the framework for the test cases. Okay. This is just a framework because you cannot write test cases without the framework. Okay, all this is are integrated here. Okay, so you have just fill up this information and go to the design step module. This is located in just click on this. Here is where you can write the test case. Okay, these are the parameters. Let's go one by one. Attachment. So attachment is not really required in this place. Whatever attachment you can do is in a test lab module. Okay, unless there are scripts. Unless there are scripts like automation scripts or load runner scripts or Selenium scripts, right? You want to attach that. Otherwise, this we don't require this attachment. So parameters, we really don't use much parameter. So this parameter is more for a automation. For manual, you don't use parameters. Okay. I've not used a parameter for manual. If you know something, and that I have not used. So this is more for a automation script. When you have the scripts, right? You want to put a parameter. In that case, you can add this new parameter here, and you want to map this. Okay. So otherwise, you don't use any parameter. So why do you need this parameter? Is like when you're trying to run these iterations. See, you're running like 3 test cases, 4 test cases, right? And they are loops. They are loops. Okay. One after the other, it has to be run. That case, you need this parameter. Okay. Other than that, you don't require this parameter. Does it make sense? Okay. Attachments. If you have only scripts or Qt scripts or UFT, Selenium or loader scripts, you attach it here. Other than that, these attachments are not very useful. This test configurations. This is not really much required. Unless you want to configure any something, but this is not really required for a tester. And requirement coverage. So here, what you do in the requirement coverage is, you want to. So let's say you want to do is this RTM. The RTM is requirement traceability matrix. Okay, so you have this RTM. Okay, so requirement traceability matrix is something which all the test, all the test cases should at least match one requirement. Okay, so all the test cases should at least match. Okay, so all the test cases should at least match it, one requirement. That's called RTM, right? So basically, right? I mean, see, for one requirement, there has to be a test case. Okay, so for one requirement, there has to be a test case. So that's how it should be. Okay, and it has to match. Okay, so that's what we do this RTM, requirement traceability matrix. Okay, you want to map all the test cases into this requirement. Okay, and link defects. This is not really required. This I don't know why they put it here. Because you have this option in the test lab too. So technically it's not required. So let's not worry about it. Dependencies. If you have any dependencies, business model linkage, and history. So history is like who created the test case and who executing it. Okay, so let's go to design steps. So here we'll be writing the test case. So click on this step, new step, and let's say we have written test case for the Chrome browser. Let's say we will be writing test case for the Safari browser. That's a very good question. You don't have task in um, HPLM, right? You don't have, yeah, I never thought of that. You don't have task here. That's right. You don't have task, and so you only start writing the test case. Yeah. So here, see, this is an obsolete tool. Okay. So they have not thought of this before. Okay. So this tool is, this is so this HPLM before it was quality center. Okay. And before quality center, it was like test director. So it's coming from like 2008. Okay, it's almost 2008 and 2009. So they've been using, and this same feature they have not even improved. Okay, so they have keep on coming this. So you don't have those features. Okay, the task, no, those things are not here. Okay, unless if there is a new tool and they have included, but other than that, you don't have task here. Okay, so let's write this step one. So let's say we have. Okay, so we have written test cases for let's say we have written test cases for the Chrome. Okay, let's say we want to write a test cases for the Firefox. Okay, now we will be writing the similar test case for the different browser. Okay, so you don't have to write one of the, you can copy paste most of the time, but you know here I'll just show you once again. Okay. And the home page of GMO should be displayed. So this you have again the same story. You have this expected result and actual result. Okay, so the actual result we'll be having later. Here is a description and expected result. So here you have this description what you're trying to do and the expected result. So actual result shows up once you are trying to execute the test case. Here you don't get actual result here. So we'll just write it down for expected result. Okay. So homepage of GMO Online is displayed. Okay. Okay. Um, Okay, so let's next we want to click on GMO online. So, okay, this is the description. And expected is uh, this online catalog pages is great. Okay, and click on okay. So same way you can write more test case. Let's write more. So enter. I'll just put this. Okay. Enter value 10 for 3% don't quantity. 3% don't 10 for order quantity field. Okay. And expected is okay. And after doing that, click on place an order. And click on place an order button. Okay. And what happens is it directs to the next page. Let's say I'll just 10. Click on place an order. So it goes to the place order page. So page is redirected to, or you can say page is navigated to. Okay, page is navigated to place order page. Click on it. Okay, so let's say if you have done some mistake and you put the somewhere, you clicked on step one and you want to add one more step and you're trying to add one step. So click on, let's say click on proceed with order button. Okay, so here the expected is page is directed to billing information page. Okay, so here, again, as usual, we got some issue again like rally. Okay, um, so after step one, we don't want step four. Okay, this is step four. It's not step two, right? So what you want to do is drag this step four. Click on that and drag it and put it here. Now it's there. So here you can drag and drop. But in Rally, I'm not sure you can do drag and drop, but you have that option to move that test case, from one place to another. Okay, so here you can do this drag and drop. Click on this step again, and you want to fill up all this information. Yes. And I want to just enter all the information and click on place the order button. See, here we are writing. Here we're writing, simple. I mean, it looks pretty simple, right? I mean, this test case, but by validating this, right, when you're trying to validate, you need to validate each and every field very carefully. Okay, so in this test case, we cannot see in the test case we cannot write every information, each and every information in detail. But while doing testing, we need to do in detail. Okay, here we cannot write. See, let's say if you are, here I'm just showing as a positive scenario, but again we need to write for negative scenario, positive scenario, and boundary values, right? Here you want to test this with a positive scenario, negative scenario. You have to put some other characters here. You want to see if it is accepting, if it's showing an error, so on. You need to do those in the testing view. You cannot write the test case for each and every small things. Even if you want to do it, you can add it, few points, you can add some few points, like testing this field, with positive field, testing it positively, testing it negatively, testing with alphanumeric, testing with. That's it. We cannot go more detail because it will clog a lot of information test case, and most importantly, you don't want to waste too much time just filling up information. You want to do testing too, right? So, um, state of disorder, online store receipt. So page is to image. Yeah, so let me check with this HPLM if I can able to give you the username and password. You need to have this VPN. Okay, you need to have this VPN, and let me check. Okay, and maybe me or Tagore, maybe check with Tagore, if we can give. If no, then I'll be able to give. Okay, check with the Tagore. Okay, so if you need credentials for this, check with Tagore, or if not, no, I'll be able to give you. Okay, so we have successfully, created test cases. So this is one set. Okay, this is just one set, and you want to write test case for every set. Okay, so let's say, you also want to write a test case for, um, uh, this we have written for Firefox. You want to also write for the Safari. Okay, so what you do is just, you can just copy it and so just copy this, paste it, and you want to name it as Safari browser. Yes, okay. Okay. Safari browser, I want to change this to Safari browser. Okay. So this is how you can add, more test case. So this is one set, second set, two sets. So you have two sets. The same way you can keep on adding the sets, one set, two set, three set, and so on. Because when you're trying to test for many browsers, so you want to test for different browsers, right? You want to test for IE, so you want to do it for Internet Explorer, Chrome. Okay. So in that case, you need to individually for every browser, you need to create these test cases. Okay, so here we have only written positive scenarios. Again, you need to work on negative, positive, negative boundary values. Okay, so I mean, you don't again you need to be short and sweet. You don't have to write so many test cases like 20, 30 test cases, because you don't want to utilize complete your time into just writing a test case. You also have other work to do, right? You need to execute the test case. So in that case, just make it like short, and you don't want to waste too much time on just writing test cases. Just doing one thing is not good because you have other work to do. Okay, so here we just check in. So now we have two sets. So that's it. I mean, for the test plan, what you do is only write test cases. So what we have done, we have only written the test cases. Okay, so that's the only thing we do in the test plan module. We have test lab module. So let's go to the test lab module. Okay, so this is again a completely different world altogether. Okay, now this is the problem with this HPLM is, okay, once you move to the test lab, it's no way, you don't see any related between test plan and test lab. Although we want all the test cases what we have written should be shown up here. That's that's what we want, right? We want to show up all our test cases so that we can execute the test cases, right? But this is a different world, and we don't have those. Okay, there is no test cases here. So what you do is, again, you need to start from scratch, like creating a directory here. Okay, so this is, I mean, the same story. Okay, so that's the drawback of this HPL. Okay, so because in absolute, because it's an absolute, you know, it doesn't have many features. Okay, okay. So again, you need to create the same story. You need to create a directory if you have directory, or in this case, I don't want to create any directory. I just want to create a set that is also like framework. So here you basically are creating a framework again. Again, you want to create this. Okay, just put that same name. So we will default, and you want to have any information, fill up this information. Change by. Okay, if it is anything, if you leave, if it's anyone who is changing, so it will be most of the time to believe, or else leave it blank. Close dates, just put as 20, created at today. Okay, created by. This will be, the name and default environment. So just plus environment. Open status. Just put as status open. Okay, so you normally cannot open this, just put a status. Let's see what happens. Just build. Click on. Okay. So good. It took. Okay. It took. And later. Okay. So now refresh it. Okay. Good. So it has change it to here. Now this is empty. This is empty. Okay. But we have already written this case, right? We have already tested. So what we were doing so far was just creating a framework. Okay. So that's that's the very drawback of this tool. So in Rally, there's nothing called like this, right? There's nothing called framework or something like that. But here you need to do all those things. And this actually, takes a lot of your time. So this is, that's why I don't recommend this, because it takes a lot of your time in just trying to understand what we are trying to do. So far, what we have done is like it's almost nothing, right? So now, after creating this framework, click on test select, select test, and this directory actually opens to the test plan directory. So, where we have written this test case, right? We'll just go to IT Maker test case, go to 9, directory number 9. So we have, remember, we've written two sets, and we'll just pull out this by just clicking and dragging it, or you can use this button and this thing, or just put it here and close this. Okay, so far you have dragged all this, and all the whatever you have written is here. Now you want to execute this test case. Okay, you want to execute it. So to execute it, click on whichever respective test case you are working on. Okay, let's say this one, and click on run, and this pop-up window shows up. So this is again, this window is technically not required, but again, begin run and click on run. Okay, here, so when you're trying to test, you need to be both application and this tool should be, one-to-one matching. Okay, so what you're trying to do is now enter URL in this browser, in the Firefox browser. So you need to open your browser, okay, and enter this URL. Okay, so in this Firefox browser, and enter this URL. Okay, and and hit it enter. So home page of GMO Online is displayed. So what you want to do is, this is the expected, the actual is home page, of GMO Online is displayed as per the requirement. Okay, and click on pass. You see this pass selected, click on pass. Okay, and the next is again, click on GMO Online button. Sorry, what was that? Click on enter GM online button. So enter on GM online button, and now we want to, what is output? Online catalog is displayed. Good. We are showing it. It's displayed as per the requirement. Okay, and click on enter. You want to put enter the value for 10, for 3% don't tempt. So you want to put just 10. Click on enter. Sorry, place an order. So here, page is navigated to place order. Web page as per the requirement. Okay, and click on enter. Okay, and just want to click on proceed with order. Page is directed to the billing information page. So page is directed to the billing information page as per the requirement. Okay, click on enter. So let's say we found some issue here. Okay, let's say we found an issue and okay, so here, let's say page is directed to online store. Let's take any here, the page is not directed. Okay, so page is not directed, or we'll just put an open shipping and handling, shipping and handling, um, you know, fee is not displaying appropriately or correctly. Okay, so shipping and handling fee is not displayed, and you want to fail this test case. Click on fail selected. And even one test case is failed, the whole set is failed. Okay, so there's nothing like no, only one test case is failed. No, the whole set is failed. Okay, so there's okay, so okay, so that's a good question. You can add a screenshot. Um, so to add a screenshot, what you can do is they just don't have this option here. They only have option for the defects. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to do it manually. Manually in sense, take it MS Word. So let me quickly show you that. So whatever you're trying to do, right? Let's say billing information. Take a screenshot. Paste it here. Okay, and you want to take. Okay, and next you want to take another screenshot. We have to do is manually. Okay, here, and then once you have done this, you can save the screenshot anywhere in the desktop. Once you have done this, you can save it here. Let's save it. Okay, and click on end run. Okay, click on end run. So here we are not attaching any screenshot, although you can attach it, but let's not do it. Okay, so let's not. You know, we don't want to get more complication because this has so many different ways to do it. So we just don't want to do in every way. Okay. Okay. So once you have done this, you can attach the screenshot by clicking on this. And once you click on this, you go to attachments, go to attachment and click it here and attach this screenshot. So that's how you can attach a screenshot and click on OK. Okay, so this is good. Somebody asked, that's a good because you need to document your results. So once you document the result, you need to put it in some folder, right? So once you document it, you put it here. Okay, so once you do this, okay, um, so it has failed. Okay, so it is test case has failed. Um, and you need to open a defect for this. Okay. Any questions so far? So this is how um, you can execute the test case. So let me quickly explain about RTM. I didn't explain about this RTM, right? So that's requirement traceability matrix. Okay, what you're trying to do here is you want to map your test case to the requirement. So that means for one requirement, so let's say there are 10 requirements. Okay? Requirement 1, requirement 2, requirement 3, requirement 4, small requirements. Let's not take it big, small requirements. It's like um, just for 5 test cases, 4 test cases. Okay, that's it. So in that case, you want to map. So let's say 2 requirements, you have 10 test cases. Okay, so you want to map it, right? So let's say you want to map the requirement. What you want to do is go to the requirement coverage tab that is located in test plan. Test plan. Okay, okay. I just moved to the test lab to test plan. Okay, just wanted to let you know. Okay, just I moved a little fast, so you may not get it. Okay, so test plan. I just got through this test lab, moved to the test plan. Now I just move this tab to the requirement coverage, and once I move to the requirement coverage, I click on this select requirement. Okay, so once I click on this, I get this plenty of directory. Here you want to see which requirement where you're writing test cases. Okay, which requirement where you're able to write the test cases, you need to see right in this place. So this is a place, where all the requirements. Okay, so we got this. Okay, so IT America. Okay, just click on IT America. And once you click on the GML, look at this, and just click on this and drag it here. Yes. Okay, that means you have mapped these 2 requirements to this 1 test case. Okay, so that means you have successfully completed RTM, requirement traceability matrix. That means all the requirements should at least match 1 test case. I'm sorry, all the test cases should at least match 1 requirement. Okay, so here you put all the test cases and map to the report. So this is RTM. So this is not this feature is not there in Rally because this is pretty much obsolete. This was there in the olden days. Now still people are using, that's a different story, but in Rally you don't have all these things because whenever you're trying to do something, you are doing that requirements in that user story. So technically, you don't have to do all these things. These things are to be done because these were all separate modules. Here, we have all separate modules here, that's the problem. But everything is integrated in one user story. Whenever you're trying to open that user story, you have all this access to write the test case. Here's, this design is completely different design. Okay, so that's the reason we need all these things. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue this or the defects. So tomorrow I'll continue with the defects module. So any questions so far? Okay, so if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today? So, I mean, okay.
Mr. Victor?
So, yeah, hello.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted. So are we going to get the access code for HPLM too?
HPLM, I'm not exactly sure. Let me check. Let me also check with Tagore. So, let me check with Tagore and, if possible, I'll be able to give it or else Tagore will be giving it.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay. So, okay. So, yeah, I mean, as a QA, this is what all you will be doing. Okay, you'll be just opening defects, just looking into the website. It's a simple. This is, trust me, this even you don't have to be, the engineer to do all these things. You don't have to be engineer. You don't have to be a PhD guy to do all these things. So this is, can be done by any simple guy. Okay, so what you're doing is just taking a website, just viewing the website, okay, and you're just trying to, viewing that, just seeing like what information is incorrect, or, using just your common sense and opening defects. That's all. You're not using any, coding here, I'm not talked yet about the coding, nothing sort of, okay. So, okay, we require coding at one point of time, if you want to go as an automation developer, so on, or developer, so that's a different story. But to start with, you don't actually require any code. Yes, I'll be emailing this, video recording, you know, um, by end of today before 4 p.m. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys.